The opinions expressed in the following program are that of the host and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the opinions of CWC Entertainment Group LLC, its affiliates, or any employee thereof.
Yeah. I must say, I want to. Come on, Rihanna, welcome to the Vincent radio show. They do it big, y'all. Great music, laughs, and so much more. Hey, you can hear y'all. Hey, how's everybody doing today? It's your girl Myskenna and Yellostar, and we are holding it down for the Vincent Tucker Radio Show. Yellostar?
Yeah.
How's it going with you?
We've had a trying week ever since Easter. You know, a couple of weeks before Easter, we had some stuff going on with the family. And I just want to tell everybody out there, you know, I know we talked about it on the show before, but without saying too much, suicide is not the way. You know, if you need something, if you have a problem in your life, talk to somebody, because I guarantee you, before you talk to the third person, somebody's going to stop and care about you and listen to you and try to help you with what's going on. Even if they can't help you, just talk to them, because you may feel better about it. But, you know, don't isolate yourself. Don't do something rash because you're not feeling what's going on in your life. Talk to somebody, because somebody out there cares about you. Somebody out there loves you, even if you don't feel like they do.
Yeah, amen. I'm sorry to hear that. It's crazy because it seems like the devil has been on the prowl, especially with mental health issues, you know, and it doesn't help that in the African American community, we like to make like
we pretend like stuff is not a problem.
Does it? Yeah. Oh, he's just a crackhead.
Oh yeah, that's just how Uncle Johnny act. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, sorry to hear about that. And you're right. Shout outs to all the family members that are out there, because if you do talk to someone and know that somebody does care, hopefully you'll understand. Because a lot of times, you may be snowballing, but you don't think about the people that lives have to go on.
Right.
After you take your life. So
exactly.
It's crazy that you mentioned that, because I know Mariah Carey came out this week stating that she has some mental health issues and that she's dealing with. She tried very hard to hide it or whatever, and she felt like this was a good time to come out, because at this point there is no more hiding it, and maybe this is an opportunity for her to help
others get help. Yeah.
So she's gotten hers under control.
I'm sure Nick Cannon is like, now?
Either that or he's like, now y'all understand. Maybe
right, you get what I was going through.
Is that why he's been wearing that turban? He had to go and get some, you know, some spiritual help.
Yeah, he needed something. He did need something going on in his life. You know, he was working a lot. He was doing a lot of stuff, but, you know, speaking of people on suicide missions, Donald Trump.
Oh, wow.
Donald Trump launched a missile strike in Syria in retaliation for the chemical weapons attack on civilians in Syria. So, as soon as I saw it, the first thing that came to my head is...
Why you always lying?
Exactly. Donald Trump's about to lose his best friend.
Again, we all know the propaganda behind everything, because not only did he send the missiles to Syria, he's also sent the National Guard down to Mexico. And so, you know, it's like we're getting ready to go into a World War III, because it's nothing good could come from the National Guard. I feel like hostility is going to start brewing. You're going to have a little civil war here in America. And on, you know, between America and Mexico. And then overseas with us launching the strike against Syria.
Yeah.
Nothing good could come out of this. Y'all better start hiding your money under your mattress. Yeah, because seriously, it's about to get real.
Yeah. And with John Bolton and he's a national security advisor now, so that's a whole other problem, because he likes to get into wars and stuff like that. So that's not, it doesn't really put us in a good position with, you know, how we're going to handle stuff from here on out.
Well, and that's the reason why he's been cleaning the White House. He only wants people on his team that are going to go with his agenda.
Yeah, they got to drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not drinking the Kool-Aid, then you're fired.
Or your life is made so hard that you just basically end up quitting.
Right.
I mean, because
Yeah.
why would I want to be on this team?
Like, I think at this point, 49% of his appointees from the day he started office have left. Literally half your team decided they could do better for themselves than working in the White House.
And that's a shame. And they are so quick to always make everything about President Obama. But, I mean, I get it. We haven't lived that many generations. But I do not recall any other president having this much
Scandal. And the funny part about it is, like, all the scandals that they had with Obama were like manufactured, like, oh, you know, he's a birther, he's not from this country, or like just trying to make up really silly stuff. But like, somebody in Trump's campaign colluded with Russia. I don't know if it was Trump, if he was aware of it, but somebody in this campaign colluded with Russia. Somebody also made campaign contributions and payoffs to keep Stormy Daniels from coming out, to keep the other chick from coming out. Like, Obama never had a sex scandal. Cause, you know, first of all, Michelle ain't having that. And second of all, like, he didn't have anything on the scale that this guy's had. But people who are, you know, drinking the Kool-Aid, they just keep defending him because that's what they do. So.
Cause they're gonna make America great again, right?
Exactly.
If Obama did have some sex scandal going on, trust me, it would have came out.
Oh yeah, exactly.
They would have nailed him to the wall with that one.
Exactly, because it was all about to come out before Trump was elected. And it's been like little by little leaking itself out. So.
Leaking.
Exactly. Like that Russian pee. Like that Russian pee.
Wait a minute, y'all better calm down. Y'all stay tuned to the Vincent Tucker Radio Show. We got much more on deck.
Bring it back, Mr. Heartbreak.
Dude, man, Noah from Chicago.
Shots in.
I just found out my girl has chlamydia and she told me to get tested. I have an appointment tomorrow to see if I have it. Right now, I think I have, quote unquote, chlamydia sore throat. That can't be a real thing. It is?
How do you know?
Charity.
Because I study.
Okay.
Don't assume the
That's the
worst.
question I was going to answer. Was that a real thing?
I read, Negro.
Okay,
Like, you can get oral
Educate
STD.
yourself.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Good point. Okay. She told me she got it back in September and she took antibiotics, but it reappeared sometime recent. Do you think she was messing around?
It doesn't just reappear.
It does not just
No. If she didn't get it from you, she got it from somebody else, bro.
Because you don't, like, antibiotics either worked or they didn't. You either finish the antibiotics and you're good.
Which most people don't.
Right.
Yeah, you gotta take them right.
Or you didn't finish
So
them.
did she cheat again or she just stopped taking antibiotics?
She cheated again.
She cheated again.
Okay.
The antibiotics are like 10 days. Like, that's not, no.
You gotta take them
But
antibiotics
that's good that
as
she
directed.
told him. Like, that was nice of her.
That's because she didn't want to get it back after she got herself clean.
So just let's forget about the cheating. If they're
Right.
cheating without a condom.
Right.
Here's my problem. Like, when you type this message, like, you obviously knew she was cheating.
Yeah. Otherwise you wouldn't ask the question. And I'm sorry to be so blunt, but yes, she cheated on you. You need to resolve that within your relationship about the fact that you have a problem with her cheating on you and giving you an STD.
I mean, forget about the fact talking about resolving a relationship. You just need to leave this relationship, bro.
It does sound like she's a little
reckless, bro.
Yeah.
And why is she cheating multiple times? And hopefully it's the same guy.
I mean, it sounds like the same guy if she got it again. He probably didn't finish taking his antibiotics.
Did he even take any antibiotics? Because he even know he had it.
That means they all, that's a lot of,
Swimming in the back
that's
of
a
the
lot
pool.
of bacteria being shared.
Chlamydia of the throat. So what was he doing, Remon, since he reads so much to get...
What are these symptoms?
Yeah. So I've never heard of that.
So I'm going to assume you do know how this works, don't you, Charity?
Oh, God.
So what's the advice that we're giving him to leave? Oh, girl,
leave.
Take your pills and leave.
Well, first of all, go to your doctor's appointment
and get an official diagnosis. It sounds like you went to WebMD
and you got strep throat.
That's why I didn't think chlamydia sore throat was a real thing. So, but apparently it is. So go get an official diagnosis. You know, he sound like a WebMD guy. He was on WebMD.
I think so.
The chlamydia sore throat.
I swear I never heard this before.
So, like, when you take the
Does
medicine,
that mean it hurts when you drink?
Right, I've never heard this before.
does medicine go everywhere? Because if he's got it in his throat, he probably has it, you know.
Your body tells it where to go.
I need to read. I don't believe in this. I have to read about this. I've never heard of chlamydia sore throat.
What are the symptoms?
Wait, but then I don't want this stuff popping up.
That means he was.
I'll look it up.
That means that she did what she did.
Look,
and then she let him go down.
this is the reason why.
So he's munching on.
Yeah, this is the reason why you have to stop telling people that oral sex is not sex, because you can still get STDs through oral sex.
It's also possible to get,
Gonorrhea and all that.
This is real.
well, no, that was totally somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
That's why I didn't want to go on my phone.
You can also get gonorrhea.
Well, it does say it's possible to carry the bacteria in your throat and not know it. So my thing is, how does he know?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Right, because which chlamydia does she have? Does she have the throat too? Because
Maybe they got it from
stop
kissing.
kissing.
Maybe she just kissed somebody, and that's how she got it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No.
Is that work like that?
Somebody lying was laughing. Okay.
Wow.
So I think we all agree you need to leave.
Your girl's trash, bro.
Go to the doctor, get a diagnosis. Cause like Remon said, this could just be strep throat. And then leave
I
her
mean,
for it.
I still think you need to have a conversation with her. You probably
What
should.
kind of conversation? It's over?
I mean, no, we had this discussion last week. Like, cheating does not mean the relationship is over, but cheating and sharing STDs with me might mean the relationship is over. Okay.
Ain't no might about it.
I'm just saying, like, you need to have a conversation with her.
You absolutely have no respect for me.
I mean, but at this point too, like, you have the upper hand, so you may want to stretch that out for a little bit and then break up with her. Right.
I got symptoms from.
Like, get some dinner,
what's his name?
Noah.
Noah.
Get some, go out to a couple dinners or something, you know.
We got official symptoms.
Noah,
What are
can you
symptoms?
please let us know if you have a low-grade fever and swollen lymph nodes? Then that means you probably have chlamydia.
What are lymph nodes?
Just in your throat.
Like,
Oh.
yeah.
You notice
This
your
part,
throat.
it's all swollen. But that's also signs of stress.
Like the flu and
everything.
Yeah.
His food got stripped up.
Only on the Vincent Tucker Show. Playing today's best music.
Came through drippin'. Diamonds on my wrist, they trippin'.
Came through dripping.
Can you focus on me? Baby, can you focus? If they're trying to party with the queen, they gon' have to sign a non-disclosure. I took the top off the Maybach.
You are listening to the Vincent Tucker Radio Show.
iHeartRadio does something no other app or website can do. Thousands of live radio stations you can take anywhere. Want to listen to that station in Denver, but you're in Philly? No problem. In Atlanta, and you miss LA? No problem. Plus, iHeartRadio lets you create your own custom artist station. DJ Kylie, and this is iHeartRadio. Just type in the artist you love, and iHeartRadio creates a station just for you. With their biggest hits, all commercial free. Free radio and unlimited music, all in one app. iHeartRadio.
To the top out.
Hey, thanks for staying tuned in to the Vincent Tucker Radio Show and Offline. You know, we always have these great, interesting conversations, and we were sitting here talking about Snoop Dogg. I know he, released that gospel album that's been causing quite controversy, which I'm kind of one leg in and one leg out, because I get what he was trying to do. You know, he had some situations going on in his life that caused him to, seek God higher on a spiritual level. And so because of that.
Higher?
Right.
Okay.
He wanted to, inspire people.
Sure. I love it.
I appreciate that, he's trying to use his status to influence people, but does that give way to some people, how they say, sometimes false prophets, sometimes people can't really get the message because they can't see beyond the messenger?
Well, to those people, I would say one of the top 10 commandments is what? Thou shalt not kill.
That's it.
But a great percentage of the Bible was written by people who killed somebody. Moses killed somebody. Paul killed somebody.
Yeah.
Peter. So, I mean, it's just a duality. I think people need to get beyond the messenger and catch the message. You know, there's a saying that I heard a long time ago. It says that God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the people he calls. You know what I mean? So the messenger may not be perfect, but he's going to use imperfect people to make sure that his glory is seen through them.
I think that Snoop, he was Snoop Doggy Dogg. Then he was Snoop Dogg.
It's Snoop.
No, it's Snoop. He's Snoop Lion.
Right.
And then he also did the reggae album.
Yep.
Right. So I mean, I just kind of think he's like dipping his toes in different, you know, but it's good that it came from like a spiritual place and it came from a place where he could, you know, maybe inspire other people.
Right.
And, you know, the fact that he could make a gospel album like this with his background, you know, and it actually be not trash.
Right.
You know, it just shows that like you can make whatever you want if you put your mind to it, you know.
And you know, to anybody out there criticizing the album, I'll tell you this, you know what I'm saying, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, you know, heaven rejoices more over the one that repents over the 99 who needed no repentance.
Amen. And Pastor Creflo Dollar tells Christians to stop criticizing Snoop Dogg. He says Christians won't leave Snoop Dogg alone, and they need to stop being the Holy Ghost police. Of course, we know that the gospel album is called The Bible of Love, and I had a chance to listen to a couple of the tracks, and I'm like, you remind, like, you know, sometimes because it's, you know, he without sin cast the first stone.
Sure.
You know, so, and it's funny because, like, in Snoop's case, it's like, you dang if you do, dang if you don't. Because so many times they always say, well, you know, rap artists should put out something positive.
Right.
At least put out one song.
And then he did it.
He did a whole album.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. And so it's like he can't
win for losing. So.
He can't win. But I mean, I think if at the end of the day, heaven rejoices because if someone can get saved.
Right.
In the process, well, obviously Snoop Dogg has obviously gotten saved, and so if his influence can help someone else, why not?
And I'm gonna be honest with you, like, it was one of the most imperfect human beings that you could think of that actually helped me get closer to God, and that was DMX. Like, when you listen to DMX's album, you know, like, he killing people, he robbing people, he doing everything, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, would be considered a sin, but, you know, it was him, like, at the end of his albums, his prayers and his conversations with God is what got me closer to God. So, I mean, again, it
didn't work for him, but
I mean, he's closer to God.
He's closer to God.
He's
just also closer to the streets sometimes.
Right.
That mental health. But you know what? In all fairness too, because, you know, I would say that each one of us in the studio, we strive, you know, to be good people. And oftentimes I find that it is easy, but then sometimes it's not easy to be, you know, a Christian, especially in the industry that we work in, just because you are faced with so many temptations.
Right.
And so because, of course, we are human, oftentimes, even though we love God and we worship Him, the flesh.
He's gonna fall short.
Yeah, because that devil, again, like we said in the last segment, he be lurking.
Yeah.
And that's his job, to take the glory away from God. It's his job to point the finger, to say, you know, but I thought you was a Christian, because that's the first thing that people, that non-believers, that's the first thing that they'll throw up in your face. Any event that you have an accident or something happens, and you are you're going good on this course, right? And the first time you make a mistake, the first thing they want to say was, I thought you was a Christian.
They want to throw it in your face.
Yeah.
Like, I thought you was Christian. You're supposed to be holy, sanctified, saved by the blood.
Right. Blessed, saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost.
Right.
How are you today, girl? Saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost.
Right.
Somebody done hung, bled, and died for my sins. That's how I feel.
Oh, I haven't heard that one before.
Say that one again.
Hung, bled, and died for my sins.
No.
That was a little bit more grim, but yeah, I get it.
Well, we want to encourage you, if you're curious, go check it out for yourself. Hit up Snoop Dogg's Bible of Love and check it out for yourself. See what you think about it.
I'm definitely going to check it out more, because I think you have to support that,
Mm-hmm.
But
you want to go higher in the Lord?
I'm okay with being, living high spiritually with the Lord.
Right on.
It's better to get high with the Lord than Snoop Dogg.
Exactly.
Amen.
It's time for the good.
Shout outs to Eva Marcel and her fiance Michael Sterling. They just welcomed in their little baby boy, weighing in at 7 pounds, 3 ounces, 19.5 inches. This is the next top model's second child. She had a daughter a couple of years ago, and now just welcomed in her new son. So shout outs to them.
Congratulations.
It's time for the bad.
This must be the birthing season, because we all know that Khloé Kardashian has, given birth to her baby girl at a hospital outside of Cleveland. And we do know that Courtney, Kim, Chris, Malika, and Tristan Thompson were by her side at the birth, but not without the drama.
Of course,
we all know that,
Tristan Thompson, he brought one of his side chicks?
Well, I guess she was holding up the other leg.
Okay. So there you go.
It's a family affair.
Right, because just as she popped that baby out, so did Tristan Thomas. Their fairy tale little love story is quickly coming to an end. As many of us know, when his other baby mama was just about ready to give birth to their child, he was caught cheating on her with Khloé.
What's the deal with this dude cheating on his pregnant women?
I think he likes pregnant.
He doesn't like
Either that, yeah.
If he keeps cheating on it.
He doesn't like to wear protection, but he also doesn't like having sex with pregnant women.
Apparently not, because it's not that. And I was like, man, he proved y'all's point from last week's conversation about how men can still love you and cheat on you.
Yeah.
Cause at this point there's 5 women that have come out and said that, hey, me too. Well, not the same me too,
right.
But.
Yeah, me too is a little something different.
Right.
I heard, and maybe this is just a rumor, but I heard that pregnant vagina is some of the best vagina you can get.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out why he keeps cheating on it.
Well, I think we have to also think about it. He's a young NBA player, and he's pretty much getting what he wants.
But the thing is, when you get to that level, to me, I get the whole, sowing your royal oats. I get that. But then don't at some point you want somebody in your camp that's about you and about building something with you to help you get better? Cause every time you got these randoms all around you, you can't build anything with that. You just end up trade them out one after the other. And if that's what you want, then do that. But don't get the women pregnant. Put a condom on her. Get your snip snap. Do something.
I hear you. You said go get tested.
That's a smart thing. You better put a rubber on it.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he decided he wanted to trap Khloé. I don't know.
Now that makes a lot of sense to me, because I could see him wanting to be a part of that family and getting involved in that, but then don't go and mess it up and then end up like the other outcasts from the family, because
end up like the other dude who got involved with Khloé.
Well, or that goes back to what our conversation was last week. It doesn't matter how much money you have. If you white, black, if a man is gonna cheat, he gonna cheat. Just because you thought you had the golden egg does not mean that you are, qualified. Because we all think we got the golden egg. It's just that, but
she just got her egg fertilized.
And if he gonna cheat, he gonna cheat.
Now it's time for the ugly.
Nicki Minaj has finally come out and revealed that there is a real beef with Cardi B, even though I've watched several interviews over and over and over where Cardi B said, hey, it ain't no real beef with me. It's just the media and fake news. Nicki Minaj feels differently. Nicki Minaj feels like Cardi B has benefited off of making her look like the bad guy while promoting their collaboration of motorsport.
Oh, boo-hoo.
I know, right? Well, Nicki Minaj has released a couple of new tracks, and they're saying that a couple of those verses are taking shots at Cardi B, and so Nicki's just saying that, you know, every time she hears Cardi B do an interview and they bring up Nicki, the first thing she tries to say is, well, you know, Nicki did change her verse. But, I mean, if that's what you did, that's what you did, Nicki. But Nicki feels that, you know, they're trying to make her be the bad guy and trying to throw her under the bus, even though that's the process of song making.
Yeah,
you know.
Sometimes you change your verse.
Exactly, but you know, Nicki said that she really was rocking with Cardi, and was really supporting her, but since the interviews have come out, she feels like Cardi ain't really supporting her. So, I don't know, some of that stuff that, you know, Remy and Kim has kind of came out and said about Nicki is kind of, the writing is almost kind of on the wall.
The only thing I'm going to say about this is Nicki Minaj dropping singles, 2 singles, the same, or a week after Cardi B drops her album. It's just bad timing on her, you know, for her. Like, it's just not smart. Like, right now, like, the spotlight is on Cardi. Mm-hmm. Right. You know what I mean? And you just need to let her get her moment.
Right.
And then you drop after that, because anything you do in this time period, in this moment for Cardi, it's gonna be, they gonna always put y'all two against each other. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you just need to let Cardi have her moment. Let her get her shine.
The same way you did.
Right. And when she go ahead and have her baby and she takes her couple of months off to deal with mommy issues.
Because she's definitely gonna do that.
She's gonna do that.
Right.
That's when you drop your 2 singles and you get your shine back.
I think that's when Remy gonna come up and creep. Remy just sitting in the cut, you know.
Waiting.
Right.
Waiting like a snack.
I'm gonna let these 2 little young girls beef, and I'm gonna come in here and start killing the game again.
Uh-oh. Well, there you have it, y'all. It's your girl, Myskenna, with today's Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Playing today's best music. Take it down. Get it up. Let me switch up the tempo. Put your phone out, gotta hit them angles. Put your phone out, snapping like you Fable. And you showing off, but it's alright. I woke up in Chris Brown's body. So hot it's turning a Freaky Friday. You're listening to the Vincent Tucker Radio Show. iHeartRadio does something no other app or website can do. Thousands of live radio stations you can take anywhere. Want to listen to that station in Denver, but you're in Philly? No problem. In Atlanta and you miss LA? No problem. Plus, iHeartRadio lets you create your own custom artist station. DJ Kylie, and this is iHeartRadio. Just type in the artist you love, and iHeartRadio creates a station just for you. With their biggest hits, all commercial free. Free radio and unlimited music, all in one app. iHeartRadio. This is the Vincent Tucker Radio Show. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all gonna learn today.
What up, people? It's that young man Remon, and it's time for this week's reality check. Now, today's reality check is going out to people who are committing to meantime people. Now, I don't know if you guys remember Jeff Johnson from BET. He used to be on like Rap City, The Basement, and they used to have him on whenever it was time to discuss like political issues and stuff like that. Okay. So earlier this week I saw an interview with him, and he said something that was very profound. He was talking about marriage, and he was like, he knows a lot of guys who get married to like meantime chicks. Basically, he was saying, you know, you get married to the chick who wasn't supposed to be around for a long time, and then you're trying to figure out why you're not happy in the marriage. So this week's reality check is going out to people who keep the meantime people around. Now, there's an old saying that some people come into your life for a reason and other people come into your life for a season. Well, I believe that even the people who come into your life for a season have a reason. However, the reason for seasonal people are not to be a permanent part of your life. That's where the problem comes in. People are constantly trying to keep people in their life longer than they're supposed to be. The reason for seasonal people is to prepare you for the people who have a purpose in your life. So today's reality check is stop trying to make a reason for seasonal people and stop trying to keep them in your life longer than you're supposed to. So when the time comes for seasonal people to move on, you need to let them go. That's today's reality check. You can take that to the bank.
Hey guys, this is Madeline Brene.
What up? This Snoop D-O-double-G.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Spitty.
And you are listening to the Vincent Tucker Radio Show.
Oh, yeah. For Rizzy.
Baby.
Ain't nobody got time for that. So check this out.
So, I really don't know how to feel about this. Like, I believe in promoting, you know, a healthy body image and people doing things that make them happy. But I'm not sure about this latest trend. Have y'all heard about this? Like, women are going to plastic surgeons and trying to get, like, nipples like other people.
Wait, what?
Like, women are going to plastic surgeons and
having nipple implants?
They're getting their nipples enhanced. So like, Kylie Jenner is one of the people who a lot of, doctors have been hearing they want, like, designer nipples, so they want their nipples to look like celebrities. One of the plastic surgeons, Norman Rowe, he said in the last year it's probably risen like 30%. Like, women say they want that cold look when they go braless. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And Kylie Jenner is one that, like, she will go braless a lot. And this is also happening in schools, and I got a story about that too. But yeah, people are saying that they want those types of nipples. And so he puts, it's not Botox, but it lasts about 2 years what he puts in the nipples.
That's a shame. So people went from butt implants to now fake nipple implants. That's crazy. That is stupid.
Yeah. He says ever since June 2017, he's had requests for his services go on the rise. He said that, you know, a lot of celebrities are driving the trend because when they wear like sheer or, you know, when they go braless, when they wear stuff to the award shows and their, you know, nipples are showing, or they kind of have it to where you can see the outline of the nipples, that's what's driving it. And there was actually a girl in a school who got in trouble and was sent home and suspended because she went braless to school.
As she
and
should.
she was distracting the boys.
I'm sure.
She should have wore a bra.
Well,
she did it for attention. It wasn't like she really didn't have a bra.
She really didn't. The way I mean, you know, cause she was interviewed after this and she said, no, I really didn't do it for attention. I just forgot to wear a bra that day.
Look, let's get off the high school girl nipples. Yeah, let's get back on the celebrity nipples. Sure. Now, which celebrity are they getting their nipples? Like, are they getting their nipples like some porn stars? Cause I don't see some that was like, yo.
I want that to be a drop. Let's get off the high school girls nipples and get on to celebrity nipples. For the most part, people are saying Kendall Jenner. I don't think there's anybody who's doing it as extensively as she is, that, you know, we want braless and everything. But
okay, so I misunderstood. So I thought people were getting their nipples designed like their favorite celebrity.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
And she happens to be one of
the most popular ones that they're emulating.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I got you. I thought she was getting her nipples designed like somebody else's.
Oh, no. Kendall Jenner is she's the muse.
Okay, which Jenner is that one?
That's the skinny one, the normal one.
The one, yeah.
Not the one that had the lip injections in the butt and all yeah.
Oh.
Now, is that really a turn on or turn off? Are you guys as men gonna be like, woo, I want you because you got...
I mean, a woman...
I've seen nipples before.
I don't know, man. A woman with some perky nipples on.
I mean, it can be attractive, but it doesn't do anything for me. Like, it's not like I'm gonna see somebody walking by right now, see some nipples poking through a shirt and be like, oh yeah, I want that. It doesn't do anything for me.
Vincent Tucker?
I would. Of course. Vincent's a breast guy.
You can't ask his petty ass nothing like that.
Vincent is a breast guy.
He couldn't get off the TV.
Alright, that's it for this weekend stupid. It's your boy Yellostar.
Playing today's best music.
Imagine if I never met the broskies. God's plan.
Listen to my heart go bottom, boot up, baby boot up.
That's on Tommy Campbell's. We live like Sopranos, and I walk it like I talk it, walk it like I talk it, walk it.
You're listening to the Vincent Tucker Radio Show. iHeartRadio does something no other app or website can do. Thousands of live radio stations you can take anywhere. Want to listen to that station in Denver, but you're in Philly? No problem. In Atlanta and you miss LA? No problem. Plus, iHeartRadio lets you create your own custom artist station.
DJ Kylie, and this is iHeartRadio.
Just type in the artist you love, and iHeartRadio creates a station just for you. With their biggest hits, all commercial free. Free radio and unlimited music all in one app. iHeartRadio.
Check this out.
Got something to say? Or you want to make a request?
This is what I want y'all to do.
Then call us at 1-877-99-VINCE and press 1.
Hey.
Get up off the floor. It's time to do something.
Okay. Today's He Say, She Say. I want y'all to listen to this and tell me if this is absolutely correct or not. Okay. Of course, our good old boy, best friend, representing the culture, the people's champ, Ben Carson.
Oh, Lord.
Can't stand
what
that
culture?
Dude. Yeah, what culture? Because it ain't the culture.
The Uncle Tom culture.
He's basically saying that the way to end poverty is for women to get married. Of course, we all know that Ben Carson is head of the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, and he's famous for, blocking Obama's small area fair market rule, which give low-income people better access to school and jobs, and mandate that they work at least 32 hours per week, even if the jobs aren't available in that area, or if the job isn't giving the employee at least 32 hours per week, they still can't get their help.
He's also famous for spending $31,000 on a desk.
Mm-hmm.
And then who do you blame? His wife.
Right.
But yeah, go ahead and get married, ladies. Listen to him and get married.
Well, he says, it's a rule of 3. He says, number 1, finish high school. Number 2, get married. And then number 3, wait until you get married to have children. Those 3 things are just a way to get yourself out of poverty, ladies. He also says, even though that there are countless studies that have proven that marriage cannot get you out of poverty, let me be the first to tell you that my marriage is what put me in poverty. Let me be the first to tell Mr. Ben Carson that I did graduate high school, I did get married, and I did wait until I got married to have my kid, and I still am in poverty. So, sorry, I'm just one statistic to show you that it does not work, but other like-minded conservatives like himself tried to say, well, in the years between 1950 and 1970, there was less poverty and more marriages. In fact, during 1950 and 1970s, poverty was down 50%. Going from 22% to 11%. Now, we do realize that these are statistics from 1950 to 1970.
Yeah, Jim Crow era.
And it's 2018.
Not only that, but Jim Crow era, you cannot tell me poverty was down during the Jim Crow era.
Hey guys, I'm just the messenger here. I just want to hear your feedback. Do you agree or disagree with Mr. Ben Carson?
Okay.
It's a resounding disagree.
Yeah. This is a massive hell no.
How many wealthy black people was it during the Jim Crow era? What we majority under poverty?
Yeah.
Guys, this is coming from a black man.
Still majority under poverty.
Even black people can be stupid.
I keep saying this. Everybody got an uncle like Ben Carson. Every black person got an uncle like Ben Carson. He makes sense about 5 minutes. He'd be like, what the hell are you talking about?
Right. Because the statistics also show that black boys who grew up in wealthy households are more likely to end up in poverty than white men who grew up in the middle class. It's something about black, the way they describe it is something about when a black man does grow up, he still wants to go down and be a thug, or he don't want to stay true to his roots.
Because you got to keep it real.
I guess so. I don't know. I'm just reading statistics. And that's why they're saying that black boys who grew up wealthy are more likely to end up in poverty than white boys.
So, guys, have y'all heard of BET's Man Cave?
Yes.
Love that show.
Y'all, okay.
Jeff Johnson's on that show, who I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Co-creator.
So, I was watching it, and Steve Harvey was on one week. Did y'all catch that one? he was on, and he was kind of talking about that same thing of like men, and especially black people, like anytime you improve your circumstances,
you gotta improve your circle.
You have to improve your circle, but it's always like we've been taught from a very young age, like you keep it real, you keep it street, like you don't forget where you came from,
right.
And that's true. But you can make the mistake of bringing the people from your past into your new life, and that can, impede your existence. So, I mean, it's not like you're supposed to forget about those people, but you can't always bring everybody.
But I'll say this, because that scenario is a little different from what she was describing, because this is somebody, Steve Harvey's scenario is somebody who came from poverty, became wealthy, and you're trying to bring your friends from poverty into your new life. I think what she was describing was, or what
statistics.
Ben Carson and his statistics was describing.
First of all, let me explain something to you right now. I'm not talking about Ben Carson anymore.
Exactly. I thought that changed.
He's an asshole.
Right.
He doesn't understand what's going on. I had in fact, I don't know if I ever told y'all this, but whenever I was down helping my family for Harvey, he actually came down like to my neighborhood, because there's a government subsidized living neighborhood that's close to my parents' house.
Right.
So he went out there and did a lot of walking around, and of course there's a lot of media coverage out there and all that, and he didn't do anything.
Of course
not. He came down, he saw the situation, and like didn't do anything to try to help the people that was down there. So what did you even come for?
To criticize.
Didn't he come to deliver some pizzas or something?
Did he bring pizzas?
I don't know.
He didn't bring pizzas to that neighborhood, because I didn't get no snipes.
Well, I mean, he basically was going down there to me just to criticize, to say, see, this is why people in poverty don't need the help, because they're too comfortable. That's what he always says, is they're too comfortable.
Well,
I thought he went down there so Donald Trump didn't have to.
That's part of the reason too, because after the disaster, it's like, okay, well, somebody needs to come and help us out, or look at the situation.
So he sends his good old boy down there, that's over HUD. He's over this department.
Exactly, and it's a lot of black people down there, so they're like, okay, well, Ben, I think this is on you, buddy.
The token. See how Donald Trump uses you?
Mm-hmm.
Use you up. Anyway, but no, so the real topic, I know we got away from it because we don't like Ben Carson, but really.
Getting married doesn't get you out of poverty.
Exactly. No, it does not. I agree with that. Yes.
No,
but we want to hear from you. What do you think? Does marriage really get you out of poverty? Hit us up on all of our social sites, VTRS Online.
Bring it back, Mr. Heartbreak.
So dramatic.
I know. That's me. That's how I roll. I had never hit this from you. I'm pretty sure if I didn't tell you the first time we met, Keenan, I'm sure I said somewhere in there I'm dramatic. Like, I own my dramatics. I own my drama. That's why I'm depressed that, like, my right leg has all this ash on it. Like, I'm just in a...
What's the word to describe Keenan? If you're dramatic, what is Keenan?
Wow, that's a good question.
I just wanted to know. I would say
beautiful.
If you had to describe me in a good word, it would be petty.
My word would be beautiful.
Charity is very petty.
Best thing ever.
I would describe Remon as low key.
Precisely.
Well, how would you describe me?
That's what I'm trying to, because I think you're dramatic. I wouldn't call Vincent dramatic. I think I'm dramatic.
I know I'm dramatic.
Yeah.
I'm definitely dramatic. Keita might be another level dramatic. There's another word. I'm trying to think. No, don't get twisted. Keita is dramatic. I'm a weird.
That's
dramatic.
your word. You're just weird.
He may be dramatic and I may be weird.
Only on the Vincent Tucker Show.
Oh, it's on me. Oh, syndicated. No, we didn't syndicate it.
Well, let's do it at least one time today.
Really?
I'm sorry, Kenny, did you want
I mean, because every time Kenny comes in, she has a different introduction.
I just figured, since you showed up for the last segment, you might as well.
I've been here for longer than the last segment. Definitely hour 2. I was here for hour 2.
You was here for 45 minutes.
2.2.
Yeah.
It's glad to see you this morning, this day, Vincent Tucker.
Y'all, I'm gonna give Vincent a big up because I rarely do that. Vincent has been dealing with the sugar. And I'm very proud of him because he's been working out. He's looking fit. He came in here with his gear on. He looked like he about to go run a marathon right now. Like, I'm very proud of what you've been able to do.
He looked like he just left the basketball court.
Right?
Right. Did y'all see his leaked video? He's working on his V.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? You doing him?
Or was that a spam?
You doing the
leak video?
That only came to me. I'm sorry.
No.
Uncle Daddy.
Listen, why are you sending your V shots to me?
I really wish y'all would consider my dating life when you say stuff like that. It's not true.
Why you winking?
For the entertainment.
Right.
I didn't wink at you either. Stop.
So the only thing I want to know is how come you didn't do all this whenever we were doing the shred diet?
She got the same video, so she know it's true. No, go ahead. Sorry. I'm just joking.
You worked out like twice on the shred diet.
No, the first week.
I'll give you first week and a half.
We need to wait. No,
it was 6 weeks.
The first week and a half. You're right. It was 6 week and a half.
Yeah.
I think, it's so many times like I'll get started and like a woman will distract me every time. Or I'll start getting some compliments and
maybe you just need to be celibate for a little while.
That's not going to happen.
I feel like this is
that's not going to happen.
This is to go down the path of Vincent being a hoe.
I was just waiting on you to tell me, shut the hell up, Yellow.
or y'all don't know my life.
Right.
Exactly, yeah, something like that.
I'm just glad to be here. This is today has been a great example to remind myself of how much of a control freak I am.
Okay.
So,
why is today a good example?
Just being sitting here and allowing Yellostar to do his job.
This is not my job.
And allowing Keenan to host, and it's just like, today's been a learning experience for me.
This hasn't been my job. So I hate you. I don't want anybody to get it twisted like I used to do this.
You took my job.
Right. I used to do this and I used to love doing this, but
it's
I've turned it over to the next generation,
The credits still say the government name. That's the engineer.
Sure. So we had this conversation about a month ago, and I'm going to do this on air because that's how I do it.
You only got 2 minutes to wrap up the show, so make it fast.
Did you bring your journal and your...
No.
Okay, we had this conversation a month ago.
I know.
And you said you would bring it. And we're still not doing it.
And I shouldn't have committed to that. But the great thing is... by the way, I have not had an insulin shot in a month and a half. Yes.
Congratulations.
Keeping the blood sugar in control. Since I have to track my blood sugar every day and I pretty much eat the same things every day, I know where my blood sugar is. And so that's why I don't bring it with me, because I pretty much know where it's at.
Right, but we had this conversation.
You're fighting a losing battle right now. So
it's clear that I am.
Final shout out. You should not be so concerned about his health.
No.
I'm his handler.
He is. It's true. But you should know that every day, since I have to track my journal, like I have from a trending and consistency standpoint,
okay,
I know where I'm at every day.
Miss Tina, shout outs, comments.
Final shout outs to Celeste and Deja. You know your mommy loves you. Shout out to Mr. Everything. Shout out to each and every one. Guess what, y'all? T-Key, Shave Guys, we coming and we gonna take the city by storm. We had a couple of little setbacks in April, but you know what? They say setbacks are set up for comebacks, and God is setting that thing on up. It's your girl, Myskenna.
Snowstorm coming this summer.
Right.
Hey.
Get your snow.
Get your snowball. Become a snowballer.
Shout out.
I'm just doing you like you do, Ramon. Hey, go ahead.
Wow. Isn't that wrong? Okay. Shout out to my cousin Nazi. She just had her pacemaker replaced. So,
what's her name?
Nazi. Notsie.
Thank you for asking that question, Remon.
Yeah.
Clear that up.
Not a Nazi.
Yeah, I was so confused. Remon is the real MVP for that one.
I really should have said Michelle. That's our government.
I was so confused.
We call her Nazi. Okay. Shout out to her. She just had a heart surgery. She just had a pacemaker replaced. And shout out to all the people out there. If you are in a bad place in your life and you need help, call somebody. You know, there's suicide hotlines. There's people you can talk to. You know what? You can hit me up on the internet. I'm at Young Yellow on Twitter. If you're having trouble or you need to talk to somebody, you can hit me up. I will talk to you. Don't try suicide. It's not the answer, and there are people in the world that love you. That's your boy Yellow.
Real quick, I want to shout out to the homie Don Claude, who just, welcomed a new baby girl into the world.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. He's now poppy. So I'm the only member of the zoo who don't have a child now. But next week is my homie, my homie Logic. He's getting married, and I'm going to be a groomsman in that wedding. You know what I mean? So shout out to the homie Logic and his beautiful fiance Cindy. Shout out to everybody that's been tuning into the Vincent Tucker Radio Show. Except for this young man Remon. I'm up out of here. Peace and many blessings.
Shout outs to my nieces, Celeste and Daisy. You know your uncle loves you.
Working on that V.
I hate her.
That's the right thing to do.
You working on this D'Angelo?
I mean, I am. So why are we talking about this in the air? For the crew, Vincent Heartbreak Tucker. See you on the other side.
Every episode of the award-winning Vincent Tucker Radio Show is produced by Aaron Channel. Executively produced by Aaron Channel, Arkina Dansberg, Cornelius Johnson, and Vincent Heartbreak Tucker. Launched in December 2007, the VTRS is a CWC Entertainment Group LLC production.